You can slice it, you can dice it, spread it, bread it, any way you please it, cheese it. You can bake it, you can cake it, chip it, dip it, any way you please it, cheese it. Cram with calcium, packed with protein too. Lots of vitamins, good for me and you, me and you. You can munch it, you can crunch it, how many even lunch it, any way you please it, cheese it. There's 100 ways to read it, but there's no way you can beat it, any way you please it, cheese it. Grate it, bake it, stack it, snack it, soup it, scoop it, chill it, grill it, any way you please it, cheese it. There's 100 ways to read it, but there's no way you can beat it, any way you please it, cheese it, cheese it, cheese it.
I'd like to send some flowers to the wife.
Certainly. Any special occasion, birthday, anniversary?
Not exactly, I'd just like some flowers to say I didn't mean what I said about you driving, and purple does suit you. Oh, yeah. P.S. All right, I won't go to West Ham on Saturday.
It's no problem. Why don't we send her a nice bouquet?
Into Flora. You bring the thought, we'll bring the flowers.
When it's time again to think of something new that's interesting, fun and news, it's just tune and lean on pork for a whole new angle on a midday snack that sets you up but doesn't set you back. Then lean on pork. British pork has what it takes. It's lean and tasty, for goodness sakes. So give them a meal they appreciate. Lean on pork, lean on British pork.
Indulge in a late-night late affair with TVS. Late Night Late arrives 25th of January on TVS.
And now here's the Late Night Late weather forecast on TVS. Rain will spread across all parts tonight with minimum temperatures around 0, picking up later. Tomorrow the rain will be followed by colder, brighter and drier weather, though Kent and Essex may not see the clearance until evening. Winds will be quite strong at times as they swing from southeast to northwest during the course of the day. Temperatures will be at their highest in the morning, falling to 6 degrees Celsius in the afternoon. And now last thing tonight, Company asks, who needs marriage?
Well, it is. So the whole idea of marriage seems to be a bit under threat. I marry lots and lots of people, 60 couples last year. And then I've read recently that, and I've found it out in my own experience, that large numbers of people who come to be married nowadays are already living together, they're already in the same address. And I'm always very happy to see them. I never say, you know, you fornicating sinners or anything like that. I just say, well, nice to see you, and I'm very glad you want to get married. And I'm just wondering whether I'm letting the side down. I mean, I don't feel it in me to feel anything much. I'm just very glad they've come to get married, and they seem to have such stable relationships anyway.
But they don't actually believe in the church, do they?
Oh, well, they must do to some extent, as they wouldn't come and get married.
Social convention, just to go to the church and say, please, Vicar, may I get married in your church on such and such a day?
Well, insofar as it is a social convention, and that's a debatable point, I suppose, I think it's a very good convention, and I think your attitude is fundamentally right, Peter. We ought to welcome them, because marriage is a thoroughly good thing. There are all sorts of other things you can say about it, but I believe it is a thoroughly good thing. I believe it's a thoroughly good thing because God invented it. We didn't. It was his idea from the start.
God invented it?
Yeah. I think that's the testimony of the Bible, which we ought to take seriously.
But what do you mean? I can't remember God actually inventing marriage. I know that I would say that marriage has existed in one form or another since whenever. I mean, back in prehistory. There is some sort of a commitment, a loyalty, a bond between two people, and whether those people have changed partners from time to time, there has still been this institution of
Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
And pinch me.
Who?
Adam and Eve.
And yeah, well, you see, now there you are.
Maybe much further than that, can you?
Yeah, well, oh yes, you can. I mean, Adam and Eve is fairly late in our history. The story, anyway.
But the story pointed back to a beginning,
sure,
and to the purposes of God from the start.
What I'm really saying is this, that you cannot, I don't see how you can say that God invented marriage. How can you say that God invents something which is a social convention, which is actually built into the fact that we're human?
Well,
I don't think
you're only stating in your way what I try to state in my way, and I think that there is no better way in which we can achieve the fullness of maturity that I think God intends.
What about people though who say, well, I can't afford the wedding, I can't afford the vicar, I can't afford the choir, or more significantly, I can't afford to be married because it's so expensive from the tax point of view, and I have decided I'm just going to shack up with Dolores and we're going to live happily ever after. Do you feel cross about that?
I think the essence of marriage is the agreement to live together in love and in sexual communion and with fidelity. I think that's the very essence of the thing. And we've made a mistake perhaps in putting too much emphasis on the ceremony and all that goes with it.
I think the ceremony is a bit of a pain sometimes because it's so monochrome and people come and they have dished up for them, you know, the video, the photographer. Yes. And I nearly go crazy at the end of the wedding season because they're all the same. Even the photographs are the same. The blessed hands put together with the rose. And
well, what I would suggest to you
it's also ordinary.
I'd suggest to you two, as practicing ministers, and I didn't, when I was a minister in the Roman Catholic Church, I didn't actually do too many weddings. But I would suggest to you to say to the people who come to you, don't get married in my church. I'm not going to allow you to get married in my church unless you are going to look at this in great depth, in great seriousness, that just as though someone was going to come to you with a child to be baptized, you say, well, do you actually believe? Are you not so much churchgoers, but are you believers? If you're not believers, you're not going to get your child baptized.
I'd like to do that. I think next year I'm going to say, look, I will marry you, but you've got to make up your own service. Don't rely on me to churn it out.
Right. I think there's an important postscript to any discussion on marriage in the church, and that is not to forget the hosts of people who are single, many of whom would like to be married and can't be. The church must essentially be a home for all kinds of people in whatever particular marital or non-marital status they are living.
So is marriage a higher status than being single? You implied that earlier on.
No, I don't think it is.
It's more demanding and more expensive. And I advise you to get married very fast.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Why?
You're getting to the age when, as a bachelor, you're getting set in your ways. You're going to find it very difficult to get married the longer you leave it.
I see. So
and it's something you've got to...
there's some sort of a discipline.
It's like learning to dive off a high board. You've got to sort of do it early or you'll never do it at all.
Well, you're making me feel guilty and inadequate.
No, not guilty.
I'm not married yet.
No, don't want you to feel guilty, but the longer you leave it, the harder it's going to be.
Really? I mean, but does that mean...
You might lose your nerve.
Yes, well, that may well be already. But once you're married, does that mean that you lose your nerve somewhere?
Yeah, you lose it totally.
For comfort, Martin, there are plenty of people who make very good marriages late in life.
Yes.
But wish that they had done it earlier.
Yes, but it's not so much of a crime of passion then, you see.
I'll give it serious thought.
I hope so, yeah.
That's it for now this Friday morning, the 22nd of January. We'll be back again at 9:25 with the latest news and weather. Hope you'll join us then. From me until Saturday morning, good night and sweet dreams. And now before you enter the land of Nod, switch off your set. Good night.